Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good morning to everyone. Today we have one of the esteemed personalities, Nicolaus Nagel, who has started his venture from scratch. And if you look at his history, he's to complete his ambition. He's moved from Germany to US, and he's been aggressively trying to achieve his ambitions from a very a very goal which is very sustainable. So welcome, Nico. Welcome to my channel. I hope you're doing well.
Hi, Akash. Yeah, very nice to meet you, and thank
Nice
you
to meet
for having me tonight
Yeah. So,
or this morning.
Nico, would you like to introduce yourself a bit? I mean, I know I have introduced, but if you want to, will be very
Happy to. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
So I'm the co-founder of Pave Motors. We are a New York or Brooklyn-based startup that manufactures or designs, manufactures, and distributes lightweight electric motorbikes. We've developed a new concept that kind of fuses the best parts of e-bikes with those of the best parts of motorcycles, scooters, mopeds. And are now starting our first deliveries, first here in New York, and are expanding across the US in the coming year, and then into Europe next year. But I'm sure I'll give you more detail on that later on.
Sure. Thanks, Nico, for your introduction. Can you share your story a bit in terms of founding? How did you found your venture, Pave Motors, and what, as an co-founder, what inspired you to start the company?
Yeah, happy to give you a little bit more background. So my brother and I started the company in 2019.
Yeah.
And if you recall, at that time, there was a big push of new e-bike companies
Yes.
coming out. So I'm talking about pedelecs, standard pedelecs. And both my brother and I have had quite the background in kind of riding smaller mopeds, Vespas, smaller type, motorbikes, basically. And we always kind of thought that there could be something that takes the good parts of the e-bikes. So them being lightweight, really easy to ride. So really giving people that have no experience in riding kind of motorcycles or barely even ridden e-bikes the ability to operate them and ride them, and combine those kind of that ride feeling with the excitement and the utility that you get from mopeds or motorcycles that have a little bit more power. And the way we saw it, these are really the perfect solution for large urban environments, but also suburban environments, because you can go the extra distance, you can bring a second passenger, you can really have the ability to replace any short to medium distance car trip, because it just the vehicles offer so much more functionality. And as I said, second passenger, going grocery shopping, bringing sports equipment, all these things are really possible, and those are things that we felt were a little bit neglected in the kind of the push for standard e-bikes or pedelecs.
That's very interesting. And how does your overarching vision and mission of Pave Motors, how do you see your company impacting the future transportation?
The way we see it is electric mobility as a whole sector is the future, when it comes to kind of sustainable transportation. The way we see it is in large cities. I mean, here in New York's easy example. If you were to electrify every car in New York, you would still run into issues. And two main problems of those are you'd still have traffic and you'd still have issues finding parking spots, right? So the almost obvious solution are to have more two-wheelers, whether they're scooters, mopeds, motorcycles, and we want to contribute to that part where we want more people to ride two-wheelers, just because it is really the most efficient way to get around in a city. And the way we see it, it really also gives cities down the line an opportunity to, I mean, right now there's tons of space being used for parking garages or parking lots and all that. And if you had less cars in a city, you could replace maybe those parking garages and parking lots and put something else, build parks, have public places that people can use for other things. So we really feel that for kind of large urban environments, two-wheelers as a whole, electric two-wheelers make the most sense. And so we see ourselves as a big player in that industry.
Yeah. So I think it's not about the New York also. If you see anywhere, I mean, in India also, it's the same case where we have a problem of not only finding the proper parking spot, but there is a huge, push towards sustainability. So I definitely feel you guys should have any plan to, to have your vision coming to Asia as well.
I mean, it's definitely on the longer term, longer term roadmap. As I said earlier, for us right now, getting the first deliveries out here in New York, expanding across the US or North America, because we want to start delivering into Canada as well. And then we're in the process of getting the European certification. So Europe is going to be next for us. And then in 2026 onwards is where we see really expanding on a global scale.
Great. What sets Pave Motors apart? I mean, how do you see yourself having yourself into a niche spot compared to other organizations or other companies that we have?
Yeah. So aside from the pure look and the design innovation, we really try to focus on making it look unique but extremely functional. It's a functional design. It has a bench seat so two people can sit on it. The battery is removable, so you can swap the battery out. You can easily charge it with our fast charger within 2.5 hours to 80%. Gives you 50 miles of range. And we've made sure that there's various types of accessories that can be integrated. So center storage, rear rack. So really the goal is really to allow people to customize the experience and get the most out of the vehicle. So that's one part. And then the other part is we are a technology driven company. So we've done a lot of work on the software side. So when you purchase a Pave bike, you get a digital key that's stored in your Pave Plus app, which is the app that you would want to download when you purchase a Pave bike. And that really is the unique way to lock and unlock the bike. So the key is fully encrypted, and it's a one-of-one. We're using blockchain-based technology to facilitate this kind of security. And so that's really where we focused on over the past couple of years, and it being having a fully digital key, so you can track the bike. There's anti-theft built in, so we have GPS, LTE. You get a notification if somebody tries to take your bike right away, and you can start tracking it. And then, for us, what we are excited about in the coming months, which is what we've teased on the website already, but is what we're actively working on now, is giving our riders the ability to actually share their vehicle with others. Because since the digital key, it's pretty simple. You can find another person in your app, send them the key, and define exactly if and how you want to charge them and where they are to, pick up the bike and drop it off. So the way we see it, we're giving people the opportunity to actually monetize their vehicle. And it makes a lot of sense, because if you think about it, if you go to the office, let's say you're in the office from 9 5 or 6, that vehicle is sitting outside idle, and somebody else could be using it, and you could be actually making money on it. So that's the feature that we're super excited about right now, what we're actively working on.
That is one of the great features that what you have put up in your bike. So, Nico, what challenges you have faced, and what was the biggest challenge, and how did you overcome those, that either one of the challenges, or you must have faced many a challenge, right, until now? I mean,
Definitely. I would say, so we started the company in 2019, and if you recall, 2020 was the year of the pandemic. So given that we have a lot of supplier relationships in Asia, that really slowed down our overall project. So kind of working through that period, and also making we had to then make decisions on buying or integrating certain parts that, because other parts were not available. So and we had to make decisions back then that now are kind of like having an effect, because we have there's parts that we had to kind of do workarounds because simply the part that we wanted didn't exist at the time. So there was a lot of kind of like thinking on the spot, because we had to really be flexible and kind of work with what we had. But I think it really made us refocus and look at every single detail of the vehicle. And I think that year, almost year and a half, I would say, really allowed us to perfect and really, kind of like on some parts take a step back and rethink how we want the experience to be. So I would say definitely COVID was one of the larger learnings. It's because it was so unexpected, and as it's our first motor vehicle venture, it was definitely an interesting time. So, but the more excited we are now to finally get to the stage where we get to deliver vehicles, have our first customers, get active feedback, and I'm just so excited to get to see the vehicles out on the road from different people in different cities and different countries. So,
that's great. How do you identify and understand your market? What are some key learnings, or what are some aspects that that you've come across during your feedbacks, the needs and preferences, especially? I know you have already told that you are a electric motorcycle company. So how do you see that, I mean, in terms of gathering the customer feedback?
So you mean like in terms of the vehicle type? I mean, the way we see it, anybody that is interested in purchasing an e-bike should be interested in us as well, because the barrier of entry in terms of riding the vehicle is very low, and it's similar to that of e-bikes. And as a rider, and of course I'm biased, but we've had our customers and test riders say the same. You simply get a lot more because you get more power, and you have a lot more utility. And I would say one of the key things and key feedback that we've continuously gotten over time is how important storage is for people. So having the ability to actually bring grocery bags, bring sporting equipment, all those kinds of things. That was something that we've heard over time many times, and so we've really made sure that we found a solution and have features that really fit into the bike nicely and allow our customers to get the most out of it.
Right. How does Pave Motors contribute in terms of sustainable future? I mean, you've been talking a lot in initial of your initial answers that you gave. It was all of. I mean, there would be a main when you come to the electric. I think the main focus is also sustainable future, and that is what everyone talks. So how does the organization contribute towards a sustainable future?
So, I mean, in terms of when thinking about a sustainable future, I think thinking that vehicles should be electric is the first step. And us being an electric vehicle company, we're by default contributing to that goal of getting to an eco-friendly and more sustainable way of getting around in large urban environments. So that's one thing. And then I would say the next thing in terms of what we're looking at as well, kind of thinking forward, is using more and more materials that are sustainable. So recyclable plastics, in general, different kinds of materials that we can incorporate in the vehicle to even further reduce the footprint of creating the vehicle.
Yeah. How do you see, what exciting new developments or innovations can we expect from Pave Motors in near future? So I think that would be the question that
Yeah.
Very excited. Yeah.
So I mean, aside from obviously the sharing functionality that I already mentioned, we're looking at different. Over the years, we've created various types of designs
Yes.
for both higher spec vehicles, so falling more into the motorcycle class, but then also for lower spec vehicles. So we're actively evaluating which one will come first. So that's like having a motorcycle as well as an even lower powered vehicle is definitely in our kind of long-term timeline. At the moment, or I would say in the short term, so for the remainder of this year, we're really focused on getting these vehicles out and really focused on making sure that we can offer the best customer service, really have a service network in place for riders to really make sure that if something doesn't work with the bike, things get fixed right away. We really want to. That's on top of priority, and having that infrastructure and then having the ability to also take that to different countries will really set us up very well for when we have different kinds of vehicles. So that motorcycle or that more lower spec vehicle.
Have you formed any strategic partnerships or collaborations that have been very pivotal to your growth? And can you share some insights from those experiences?
Um, by partnerships, do you mean supplier partnerships
Yes,
or
for
yeah?
your growth, yeah. Any
Yeah, I mean
partnership that you feel which is very crucial to your goal, and if you can throw some highlights on them.
Yeah, happy to. So for example, for the battery development, we work together with Pave Motion, which is a renowned automotive consulting company based in Germany. Together with them, we worked on developing and getting the battery into production stages. So that has been a really great partnership because they bring a lot of expertise, especially in a field that we don't have as much expertise. So it's been a really helpful and successful partnership. Our batteries we've passed the necessary tests, made sure they're secure and really work really well. That's the 50 miles distance is great that we achieved that, and that definitely was something that came out of that relationship with Emotion.
Yeah. What advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs, especially those who would like to enter into electric vehicles or transportation industry, Nico?
I mean, don't start it before a pandemic. um, um, what I would say, if it's the first time, definitely plan whenever you make a timeline, plan in a little bit extra time.
Yeah.
Because there are, I mean, there are things that you just can't know, and it's not possible to budget them in. So you just have to have a buffer at all times whenever you set up a timeline, and that was definitely something that we've learned when it comes to testing, when it comes to quality control, when it comes to getting the vehicles from a prototype stage into production. That's probably the part that takes the longest and is the hardest. And so really kind of planning for the unknown a bit. Even if you think everything is squared away and ready to go, just reserve a little bit of time for the unknown. I would say that's super important.
Because there is always you may never know what will happen at the next second. So that's
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
The last one, looking ahead, how do you see yourself into 5 to 10 years? How do we see Pave Motors, and what are the long-term plans? I know you've talked about it, but if you could throw some highlight on that, that would be very helpful.
5 to 10 years down the line, we see us as a major electric motorbike or motorcycle player. This is our first vehicle, and as I just mentioned, there are other vehicles in the works. And the way we've set ourselves up already is with kind of that scalability in mind. So our goal is really to grow, build a network of Pave riders using the app, renting out the vehicles or renting the vehicles, whether it's the Pave BK or a future version of the different models. I would say that's really where we see us, and becoming a global player is on top of mind for sure.
All right, everyone, that was very interesting talk with Nico. Nico is a co-founder of Pave Motors. We've been covering every aspect with Nico, and I would give him a best of luck for whatever he does in future. Thanks a lot, Nico.
Thank you so much, Akash. Very nice.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.